Hey, what is going on, guys? Today in this video, I want to do something just a little bit different. Over the past several months, many of you have asked some questions regarding the channel, where we're going, where we're headed. You've asked questions about Obsessed Home Theater, the direction of that, and kind of how does that fit together with Youthman. And so in this video, I just want to share very openly, very candidly, what that process is, where we've been, where we're going, and answer the top 15 questions that I've been getting over the past few months. So I'm going to just switch over. I've got a list of questions. I'm just going to go through them. I'm not going to edit this video. I just want this to be raw, unscripted. So here we go. Number one, is Youthman going away now that we're building Obsessed Home Theater? Absolutely not. Youthman is essentially the brand. So that is me. That is my journey. That is who I am as a person. And Obsessed Home Theater is a business and a brand that myself and two partners came together to create. And so that kind of leads into the next question. Why did I start Obsessed Home Theater in the first place? So the number one question I get from you guys all the time, Michael, should I buy this product or this product? I'm looking at this subwoofer or this subwoofer. I'm interested in maybe this AVR or that AVR. And you're always wondering, which one should you buy? And some of you guys will watch my videos and I've got a unboxing, and maybe you just bought that AVR. And a lot of times you'll say, Michael, I can't wait to hear what you have to say. Almost like you're wanting validation for what you bought. Hopefully you did your own research and you figured out that's the product that you want. But it also is nice when we hear other people basically validate some of the purchases that we've made for our own system. And so I started Obsessed Home Theater to be able to answer those questions. So over the past 7 years, I've reviewed a ton of products, receivers, processors, theater seats, subwoofers, projectors, ultra short throw projectors, all different types of things, right? And through that process, typically the format is, hey guys, here's a product. Here's what I like about it. Here's what I don't like about it. Here's what I think the manufacturer can do to improve this product. And if this is a good fit for you, if it fits in your budget, if it's, meets the needs of, what you're wanting to do in your theater room, here's a link down below. I'd appreciate it if you use that. If this video has been helpful in making your decision, if you use the affiliate link, it's going to take you to Amazon. It's going to take you to Crutchfield. It's going to take you to Audio Advice, one of those affiliate programs. And basically it's a referral service. So if you choose to buy from Amazon, they give me a whopping like 3% as a thank you for sending traffic to their website. Same thing for all these other brands. And so in the past, I've always done that. And basically, if I become a dealer for the brands that I love, then of course, that's a better business model versus saying, hey, let me build somebody else's business by sending traffic to them. What if we bought the products? What if we stock them? What if we ship them? What if we provide support for those products that we love? I don't want to carry everybody's product. And we'll talk more about the business model of Obsessed Home Theater here in a minute, but that's where this started. It was answering the question, what if I just continue to do what I've been doing for 7 years, getting in great products, amazing products, testing them out, using them as a consumer would use them. And then instead of saying, well, you figure it out, if this is a good fit for you, what if I actually began to endorse products? And what I mean by endorse is the products that I'm already using, the products that I find that are great. What if I kind of put my stamp of approval and say, hey guys, if you're figuring this out and you don't know which direction to go, I really think that you would enjoy this product, whether that is a processor, whether it's a set of speakers, subwoofer, Atmos, whatever, a projector. But what if I put a stamp of approval on it? And so that's the business model behind that. And so that kind of leads into the next one. Will I still be able to make unbiased reviews even though I'm now a dealer? I think the answer is yes. So number one, I have had 7 years of building your trust. I take that incredibly, incredibly serious. My integrity, my character, and my faith as a Christian means more to me than any dollar amount I'll ever make in a brand deal, in a sponsorship, and even as a dealer for the brands that I love. So to me, this is just the next step. It's like a natural progression of my channel, because now I'm beginning to provide a service by continuing to check out awesome, awesome stuff. So prime example, right now, I'm a dealer for maybe 5 brands. Okay, we got Perlison, we got JTR, we got Sewell, Red Atom. Doggone it, I bet I'm forgetting one. I think there's one more. Forgive me. Anyway, I'll put them up here on the, well, I'm not going to edit this video. Forget that. We're not going to do B-roll. It's not going to be fancy. It's just me talking to you, sharing my heart. But anyway, go to the website, Obsessed Home Theater. You can see all the brands that we carry, but I'm pretty sure I'm forgetting one. It's probably an important one. Doggone it. But anyway, so I've got in the Weem. That's probably it. I can't see it because I've got my notes in front of me. But the Weem Amp Ultra. We're not a dealer for them, but I want to check it out. You guys have been saying this thing's really awesome. You like the Weem product, so let me get some in. Let me test it out. Let me see if I like it. Let me continue to share if, you know, what I like, what I don't like, what I think they can improve. How do you set it up? Do some fun stuff like that. Continuing to provide education on these products. I've got other products. I've got some Rui Pro HDMI cables. Really cool cable they just sent me. So these are detachable. So the tips come off of it, which will make it super slick to be able to fish that down through your walls. And you don't have this big connector at the end of it to get in your way. And it's a really slim profile, active cable 2.1. So I'm going to get that in, hook it up. We're not a dealer for them. Now, does that mean that we aren't going to become a dealer for them? Don't know. If we get it in, we absolutely love it. And we figure out, you know what? This is a product we can get behind. And so when somebody says, hey, Michael, what HDMI cable should I buy? You guys asked me that. You asked me, what XLR cables do you use? Again, let's figure that out. Let's do the work for you. Let's get them in. Let's test them. And then let's make a recommendation. And then the products that we land on, then we reach out to those brands and say, hey, such and such brand, we love your product. We'd like to become a dealer for it. Could we buy these, ship these, and service or provide support for my audience? And so that's really just the premise of that. And so I truly believe that I can still be authentic. I still believe I can be unbiased because I'm not going to put anything in our store that I don't love. Okay. I know that my reputation, my character's on the line. So if I say, hey guys, go out there and buy this, it's amazing. We got it in the store, and you buy whatever, this, and it's junk and it doesn't work. Well, number one, we got to service it. We got to support that. We're going to be doing refunds and we're going to be dealing with a bunch of headaches. I don't want that. So absolutely. So I'm chasing great products that we can get behind, that we can purchase, that we can stock, and that we can ship, and that we can provide value to you, the consumer. So absolutely, I think I can do that. The truth is, we're all biased if you really are honest with yourself. I've been very, very clear over the past 7 years. I have a bias or a tendency towards liking speakers that are horn loaded. I like compression drivers. Why do you think I've owned over 50 pair of clip speakers over the years? I've always loved horn, JBL synthesis, really enjoy their sound as well. But there are definitely some other brands and some other types that I've enjoyed as well. The AMT tweeters, I'm like, man, this is interesting. You know, I like the sound of that, especially for the mid-range. But there are things that we tend to prefer. I always let you know that. My ears like a more forward sound. You know, that's just what I like, especially for home theater. So anyway, next question. Since I'm a dealer now, how can you trust that my reviews and testing are authentic and not just a sales pitch? Kind of goes along with what I just shared. I went probably more into detail on that, but the reality is my character means everything to me. Because here's the thing, once you lose that, it's not that you can't get it back, but it's super difficult to get that back. And so I value that. I value the relationships that we have established. Many of you I've met in person at shows and different events. I've had you over to my home and we've hung out and we've listened and watched movies together and done demos and talked home theater. We've had conversations on the internet through email and chat and Facebook Messenger and sometimes even on a phone call and video calls. And so I value that tremendously. And so I don't want to do anything that would jeopardize that trust that I have with you, with the folks that are watching. So will I still review and test products that we don't sell through Obsessed Home Theater? Kind of answered that. Absolutely. Got stuff in here. I've got the Weem. I've got a Sony Theater Quad Pro set up in, or not Quad Pro, Theater Quad set up in my living room. I have an Epson projector. Oh, that thing's pretty cool. The QL7000, super, super bright, 10,000 lumens. We're not a dealer for Epson. Okay. We're not a dealer for any projector yet. And so absolutely, I want to continue to test and review products because again, we're on the search. We want to find out what are those great products, but instead of providing, well, actually I'll get to that in this next question or one of the next questions. Let's keep going. So yes, we will absolutely test and review products that we don't sell through Obsessed Home Theater. Is the channel shifting to only cover high-end products? Man, I love this. I love this. So some of you guys are, oh my goodness, Michael, I can't afford Perlison. I can't afford this, or I can't afford that. Kaleidescape, that was the other one. So that we're a dealer for. So, Kaleidescape's so expensive, or JTR is so expensive. And man, you used to do affordable stuff. Guys, that hasn't changed. Yes, I have done a lot of content on some higher end stuff. But what has changed is when I started my channel 7 years ago, like the average speaker was about $2,500. That was a pair of Klipsch RF7 threes. I think they were $2,500, maybe $3,000 a pair. When I would review things like Parasound amplifiers. Those are about $3,000. So to me, I've always kind of been in the mid tier. I didn't do a lot of budget, like super budget friendly. I've never reviewed a $500 AVR. Most of the AVRs are usually around, say, $1,000, $1,500. Of course, we've seen AVRs go up and up and up. It's crazy. Marantz, Cinema 30, like $4,500 now. And so everything's more expensive. But my channel's always kind of what I would consider that medium tier. There's definitely some super budget stuff below that. But then there's some stuff that's ridiculously more expensive than the stuff that I review and test here on this channel. But absolutely no, the shift is not to just cover high expensive products. I think this Weem is like $500. Not cheap, but again, I've never been the cheap guy. I just want to find great products, quality products. Now, if I can find a great product that is cheap, inexpensive, but it's still a great product, absolutely, I would love to shout that from the rooftops. And I've done that with like Monoprice. Monoprice cables are ridiculously affordable, but I think they're great products, So, so we're definitely not shifting. What you're seeing is I now make sometimes 3 videos a week. And when I first started my channel, I only made 1. And with 1 video a week, I was pretty much only doing kind of the stuff in the mid tier. What you've seen over the past several years is I've expanded. And so now we're doing some in the high tier, like I got a Trenov on loan. We've done some stuff on MadVR. We've done some stuff on JVC. I've done some collaborations with Christie projectors. And so you'll see some content on that, because the reality is there are some of you out there that are watching this video. You can afford that, and that may be of interest to you. And yes, you know, sometimes I'll see comments like, Michael, you do realize that Trinov is only like 0.1% of the consumers that can afford this. That's not for your average person. Well, of course I realize that. But for me not to talk about something that most people can't afford, to me is a disservice to those that can afford it. Why shouldn't we provide some content on products that guys with a really high end budget can afford, you know? But likewise, I want to find some super budget friendly stuff as well. The Phaeton headphones, the 900 Legacies, I reviewed those probably 3 or 4 years ago. They were $250. Great set of headphones. I've used them to this day. The only thing I've had to replace is the ear cups because eventually they kind of, I guess, start flaking off, especially if you got like a little scruffy beard. When you put them on your face, it tends to rip it off. So I've replaced that for like $14. Other than that, haven't had a lick of issues with them. And they recently went on sale for like $49. And man, I shouted that from the rooftop. I'm not a Phaeton dealer at all. I'm like, hey, they're on Amazon right now. This is crazy. You need to get you a pair. They're like $59 for one model, and I think $60 for, or $50 for one, $60 for another. So, of course, we're going to continue to just talk about great products, whether they're budget friendly, whether they're kind of mid tier, or even some of the uber high end stuff. I want to cover it all. So, next question. Why have I made so many videos about JTR? You guys are probably sick of hearing JTR. Well, the reality, I flew out to JTR, gosh, it's been 5 or 6 years ago. Had the chance, you in the chat or in the comments, some of you said, man, if you like this brand, you're going to love JTR. And I'm like, who the heck is JTR? Never heard of them. So I reached out to Jeff, couldn't get in touch with him. Took me about a year. Finally, I got in touch with him and he's like, man, I'd love to have you up here. And so he flew me up to his headquarters. He scheduled 2 of his customers. I had a chance to go over and visit Scott Newby, which you're probably very familiar with, good friend of mine. Had a chance to hear his setup. He's got an amazing setup. Then I had a chance to hear Tony's, which Tony now works for Jeff. He's the guy that when you email sales, he's the one that is really doing customer service for Jeff. So I fell in love with JTR. Since then, I've heard 15, maybe 20 JTR home theaters, and every single one of them have been impressive. And so I knew with my personal theater, that was the direction I wanted to go. And it took me like 4 years to eventually get to the point where I built out a full JTR system, from the speakers to the heights, as well as my subwoofers. And so the reason why we have so many videos on JTR is because we're going back to the initial premise of Obsessed Home Theater, answering those questions. A lot of the questions we get is, Michael, should I buy the 210 or should I buy this new Kalos series? Well, we don't have that answer, so we want to do some testing. We want to compare those. Should I buy the 215s because they're rated down to 18 hertz and just run them full range? Or should I save some money, buy the 212 and use my subwoofer with it? Again, those are questions we want to answer. And so we've spent the past, I guess, about 10 months. So we started Obsessed Home Theater 10 months ago in October of last year. We started that, and JTR was one of our very first brands. It was actually the second brand. Kaleidescape was the first, just because there's no competition in Kaleidescape. There's no other brand out there that I have to figure out what is the direct competitor to Kaleidescape. So that was really, really easy. And of course, JTR, I'm like, hey, Jeff, I've got to be a dealer for JTR. Love your product. I don't necessarily want to sell RTJ. I love JTR. It's what I own. And that's what I'd like to sell and become a dealer for. And he said, let's make it happen. And so we have spent the past 10 months buying inventory. Like we literally, like Jeff doesn't send us this product. We buy this product. We spent literally hundreds of thousands of dollars buying inventory or of JTR so that you, the consumer, don't have to wait 3 months, 4 months, sometimes 5 months for your order to ship. Okay. That was a problem that we saw in the industry. And we're like, well, Jeff, what if we just bought a bunch and then we stock it and we ship it? You know, Then when you order from obsessedhometheater.com, it'll tell you on there, do you have a 1 month wait, or do we have it in stock and it's ready to ship? And so that was the goal that we had with that. And so we have hundreds of thousands of dollars in JTR inventory. And of course, I don't want it sitting on the shelf. I want it sold. And so part of the reason from a business perspective, I want to make content on it. I want to make people aware. I have over 1,000 new subscribers every single month that come to my channel, that subscribe to my channel. Many have probably never heard of JTR. So of course I want to talk about JTR. But guess what? We're going to do the same thing with Per Listen. Per Listen is actually sending us, technically it's through Fidelity Imports. They're sending us all of the the R series subwoofers. We want to get them in, make a bunch of videos on it. Like, what should you buy out of all of these? I don't know. There's probably 8 different subwoofers. Which one of these what can we recommend? Not that any of them are bad, but maybe I just don't see the huge value in the 8-inch. And I'll be like, man, if you're going to buy a Per Listen subwoofer, at least get the 12. I don't know what that's going to be, but I may say, man, this 8 thing kicks butt. Put it in a room like this, in a small office or a small living room. It'll be great in an apartment. I don't know what those answers are, but I can't know until we get them in and we begin to do the testing. And what I've made a commitment to do is, if I'm going to do something, I might as well film it, share it with you guys. And so that's why you're seeing so much content on JTR. We've got these speakers that we have bought. We've unboxed them. So now they're inventory, not sellable inventory. They're inventory for us to be able to test and film and take photos of for the website and all of that. And so that's why there's been so many videos on that. But we're going to do the same thing with Per Listen. We're going to do the same thing. We've already done the same thing with Kaleidescape. I did like 6 videos back to back, just telling you everything I know about Kaleidescape, how to make a script, how to build a custom scene, how to set it up, how to install it, how to go from just the player and adding a TerraPrime server. And so that's what we're going to do with all these products. Okay. And then of course, the more products we have, the more variety we can do. But right now we only have a few brands. We got like 5 brands. And so I don't have a ton of variety. And so that's just part of building out this business. But if we're going to be sustainable, we got to be able to sell product. And we're selling quite a bit of product, but I've got to make videos on those to share that information and really build the case of why you would even want this product, whatever it is. So hopefully that answers that. Next question. Am I sponsored by JTR, or do I just really like their products? No, I'm not sponsored by JTR at all. Like I said, we buy inventory from Jeff. We order it, and it takes us a little bit over a month to get it shipped to us, or to build and ship to us. And then we add it to our website, and then we, say, hey guys, we just got a new shipment in here. We'd love for you to buy it. And then we make content on that. And so, no, JTR, the only time Jeff has ever sponsored my videos is like M-Wave. When we were doing M-Wave, he was a sponsor there for like 2 years, maybe even 3 years. But no, I'm not sponsored by JTR. You guys will always know if a video is sponsored. If I make a video on this and they send me some money, guess what? There's a I think it's up at the top left. It says something like, this video could contain paid advertising, something like that. That is a box on the back end of YouTube. When I upload a video, it says, hey, is there any paid advertising in this? And if so, click yes. Always click yes. Then also in the description, you're going to see, hey, this video was sponsored by Rui Pro. You're going to hear me probably either say it verbally at the beginning of the video, or use either that, or there'll be some text that says this video is sponsored by Rui Pro, or whoever that is sponsored by. When I go to Cedia, if you look back at all of my Cedia videos, those are all sponsored. When I go to Kaleidescape's booth and I film them, and they paid me to make a video to talk about their new products. And really, it's just, they're paying for my time and they're paying for access to my audience. That's all it is. So me to fly out to Colorado, to hire a videographer, to pay for my flights, his flights, my hotel, his hotel, our food, our Ubers and all that stuff. Bring all my camera equipment out there and then come back home and edit, all of those videos. And sometimes I'm even editing really late at night while I'm there at the show because they want the video posted the following day. So they pay extra for a same day edit. So, but again, those are all sponsored and you'll see that says, hey, this video's been sponsored. And so you never have to worry about on my channel. I mean, think about it. Even when I do, this isn't sponsored, but it's pretty similar. Even when I shared those Phaeton headphones, what do I put down at the bottom? There's a disclaimer that, hey, if you use this affiliate link, I get a small commission from it. It's a referral fee for sending you to Amazon. It's their way of saying thank you. And so I do my best to be as fully transparent with you guys with those relationships. Again, it goes back to integrity. Let's see. So I got a few more here. So am I going to still keep doing home theater tours? Absolutely. I don't do a lot of home theater tours, and I did a dedicated video on that. The short version is if you reach out to me and you're in Florida, let's say you're in Orlando, that's a 45-minute drive. That's easy for me to load up my camera gear, load up my lighting, load up my microphones, my tripod, hop in the truck, drive over to your house, spend the day with you, and I'm back here that night. Then I can edit the video. If you're in Wisconsin, well, now I have to book flights, get a camera. Typically, I'll bring a cameraman since I'm doing it out of state. Now we've got 2 flights, hotel. Sometimes I stay with you guys. Sometimes there's a hotel. But then there's 3 days. So I've got basically the first day we fly in, then we film the next day, and then we fly out the 3rd day. I don't like to fly in and fly out the same day. You just run into the possibility of something going wrong. You don't capture the footage or the audio gets goofed up. You run out of time. You don't get a chance to make the video, and then the trip is wasted. I don't want that to happen. So the cost that's involved in that, typically I just need to get a sponsor. And so if you reach out and, I'm like, man, this would be a really cool home theater to film and feature on the channel. Then I reach out to the brands in that are represented in your theater and just say, hey, look, here's a cool, Tim's got an awesome home theater. It features Theory audio. Would you be willing, I reach out to Theory, hey, would you be willing to sponsor this video? Here's what I charge to fly me out, my videographer. This would be a cool showcase of your products. And then it's up to them. If they say yes, then we go ahead and keep going. If not, I'll reach out to other vendors that are in your theater. And then if we just can't find a sponsor, just really, it doesn't make sense time-wise. It doesn't make sense financial-wise, because that video is going to generate literally sometimes $100, $200, $500, just depends. So that may not even cover my expenses out there. So it doesn't make sense business-wise to do that. Would be a cool event, would be an awesome experience, but this is my full-time job. And so I still have to make decisions that make business sense, if that makes sense. Let's see, a couple more. Will I continue sharing my personal home theater journey, including upgrades and mistakes along the way? Absolutely. The one thing we've been doing is we're showing you the journey of, well, let me back up. 7 years ago, I began documenting my journey as I upgraded, as I built up my theater room. Any changes I made to the living room, outdoor speaker system, those types of things. What we've been doing a lot lately is we're building out the Obsessed Home Theater Lab. We're soon going to be building out Rusty's dedicated theater room. He's making lots of upgrades on that. We pretty much finished, for the most part, filming Matt's living room system, his dedicated theater room. We've got Joe's living room that we're going to be documenting. But also, especially when I move, there's a lot I've got to do. So we're in the process of selling my home. Let me see, is that on... I think that's on one of my questions here. But anyway, if it's not, I'll just, oh yeah, it's my next question. So we'll get to that in a second. But anyway, when we move, there's going to be a lot of video content on that. I'm going to show you everything I do. So if I have to run wires through the attic, I'm going to show you how I do that. If I'm going to have to tear out some drywall or install drywall, I want to document that. So absolutely. My theater, there's not a lot of changes lately, so there's not a lot of content of me and my personal journey in my theater room. But yeah, absolutely. I'm going to continue to share that. One day down the road, I upgrade to a Christie projector. If I upgrade to an Epson projector or whatever that looks like, then I'll document that process. If I upgrade my screen, those types of things. So, but yeah, absolutely. And of course, I've always made an attempt to not just show you the polished version. It's easy in editing. Like it'd be easy for me in this video to go back and watch this video. And every time I said, or stuttered, or maybe if I said something that didn't come across real smooth and it was kind of awkward, it'd be easy for me to just pause, start talking again, repeat that, and then in the edit, just delete the stuff that was goofy. I'm leaving that in here for you. So I'm doing my best to do that along my journey. So of course, I'll share with you my mistakes as well. Are we planning on moving? Yes. Short version, economy here in Florida is, the housing market. So it pretty much stopped. We're still planning on moving. We're just waiting for the right buyer, the right offer, and then of course we'll move, and then we'll be documenting that as well. So last 4 questions. Are we trying to become another Crutchfield or Audio Vice, or are we going in a different direction? So the whole premise behind Obsessed Home Theater is I don't want to be an Audio Vice. I don't want to replicate what they're doing. They're doing an amazing job. I love them. They have some great, great people. They've got a great business model, but we want to provide something different in the space. I don't want to be a Crutchfield. When you go to Crutchfield and you go to AVRs, there's 20 different brands, and each brand has 6 different models. That's a lot to weed through and figure out. And that's just one thing. That's just your AVR. Then you got to figure out, okay, what speakers do you buy? And then there's another 30 brands and another 50 models, and it gets overwhelming. And so the business model that we have kind of taken on is of curated products. I want to do the research as the consumer. My channel has never been the expert. My channel, hopefully you guys see this, it comes from a consumer's perspective. So when I review a remote, I'm sharing my experience based on as a consumer, not as the professional. I'm interested in things like, how does it feel in my hand? How difficult is it to set up? If I was reviewing a pair of wireless headphones, was it a pain in the butt to connect it to my Wi-Fi? Was it a pain in the butt to connect it to Bluetooth? Those types of things, just that real world scenarios. And so I plan on continuing to do that, but I want to be able to not say, hey, here's 1,000 things we sell. I want it to be very specific. You come to our website, it makes it really easy. You'll note, prime example, you'll notice on Kaleidescape, on our Kaleidescape page, we don't have the Strato M. Okay. I just choose to, I think there's 2 that you need to be considering: Strato V or Strato E. And the main difference is how much storage do you want? That's it. Okay. We want to make it as easy and simple. I don't want to have to give you 1,000 more choices. Okay. So that's just a different business model. So no, we're not trying to become a Crutchfield, Adorama. We're not trying to be an Audio Advice or Worldwide Stereo. We just want to be us, and we want to provide curated products. Last couple questions here. Can you actually buy products directly from us? Absolutely. So we want to make this process as easy as possible. When you go to obsessedhometheater.com and you go to a product page, you'll see on there whether or not we have it physically in stock, ready to ship. It'll say something like 6 available. Or it'll say 1 month expected lead time, something like that. Basically, the 1 month is products from JTR that we don't have in stock ready to ship. Things like Kaleidescape, we can get those in very quickly. We don't have those stocked because we can order those on like an ad need basis. So yeah, absolutely. You can buy directly from the website, and the end game, the ultimate goal would be to have a huge warehouse, tons of products. So when you click, we got pickers, and they go pick it off the shelf, they assemble it, and they box it up, and they ship it out to you. So right now, again, we're still building out those processes. Right now, we only have 4 employees, and none of us get paid, truthfully. So we've got myself, Matt Mormon. So he owns Obsessed Garage. We're leveraging a lot of Matt's components. So his warehouse, his space for the Obsessed Home Theater lab. We're leveraging some of his guys that do photography to take photographs, really great photographs of all the brands that we carry and the products that we carry. We leverage their team to help build our website. We're leveraging my, filming and making content and sharing the stories and those types of things. So I'm not getting paid to do any of those other than YouTube, from the ad revenue on that. Rusty is our CEO. And so Rusty's been working free for a year. So none of us are getting paid. We made a commitment that for the first year, we're just going to get behind the business and we're going to take every dollar, every bit of revenue that comes in, we're going to put it right back into the business to grow the business. And so that's what we've been doing. And so, but yeah, absolutely. You can buy products directly from us. So sometimes we stock them, ship them directly. Sometimes they're drop shipped. So it just depends on the arrangement with the company. Do we plan to keep products in stock or will everything be special order? Same thing there. So these questions kind of tied together. Yeah, so we do plan to keep stuff in stock, like Sewell banana plugs we've got in stock. We've got Kaleidescape, some Kaleidescape, not a lot, but we've got some Kaleidescape. And here's the thing, a lot of stuff's expensive. I'm like crazy expensive. Even at dealer cost, it's still stinking expensive. And so we have to be careful that we don't order too much product, have stuff sitting on the shelf, and then we're not selling, and so stuff is just sitting there. Does that make sense? So we have to just kind of be balanced on how much inventory we keep on hand at any given moment. And we're still learning what are the trends. There may be certain models that, like I can tell you right now, the RS1s from JTR, as soon as we get them in, we'll order 15 of them. And then probably within like 2 months, they're gone. And so we're continually restocking those. So we have to kind of figure out, all right, which products sell the most and how to manage that. So anyway, we're learning on that. And then I guess we got one last question. So what type of content can you expect from me going forward? Man, great question. So again, honestly, it's much of the same. You're going to get product reviews. This Weem Amp Ultra over here. I'm going to share with you my experience with it. I'm going to play with it, test it, get it connected. I'm going to share what I love about it, what I don't like about it. How do you set it up? Those types of things. You can expect that. You can expect some home theater tours. There's not a big emphasis on that on the channel, but I do still love doing those. They're really, really cool to do. But because I've got so many other things going on with Obsessed Home Theater, even just making content, it's difficult to do that like consistently. So, but yeah, I'll continue to do those. I'll continue to share how-to videos. How do you set up an AVR? What's the process of adding an amplifier to an AVR? What are best settings for your projector? Things like that. So I'll continue to provide educational content. I'll continue to do some trade show coverage. I'm heading out to CEDIA in 2 weeks. So I'll be there for like 3 days, filming a bunch of different brands. And so I'll continue to do that. I did not get a chance to go to Audio Advice Live this year. Wish I would have been able to, but I had a schedule conflict. I couldn't make it. Hopefully I'll be able to make it out again next year. They have a great show. So I'd love to continue to cover at least those 2 shows. What else? As I build out my home theater, as we build out other projects, like I said, Joe has a living room setup. So we're going to be doing a very budget-friendly system in his living room. I'm going to share that journey with you. I've introduced over probably the past year, I've done some, truthfully, it's kind of more vulnerable content, more vlog style. And the reason why I say it's vulnerable is because you kind of just hit record and go with it. It's not super planned out. It's like, look, here's where we're at. Here's what we're doing. Here's the issues we're running into, and we're just filming it, And so that's different for me. Very, very different. I'm used to having my lighting set up just right, my microphone, got a good microphone here. And sometimes it's grab my iPhone and just film and share what I'm doing. So you can expect definitely some more of that going forward. But the biggest thing is we're going to continue to chase great brands, continue to find and discover great products, primarily in the home theater niche. We'll do some things like this, the 2-channel Ween streamer and amplifier. I'll do headphones occasionally. I might do some outdoor stuff. But primarily it'll be home theater. But we're going to continue to chase those great products. And when we find those great products, we're going to figure out, man, is this something that I want to get behind, that I'm willing to invest in, to purchase inventory, to stock, to ship, to support? And, if we do, then again, we just document that journey. But it's still, just because something doesn't go into Obsessed Home Theater store doesn't mean it's not a great product. It just means that we made a decision. We're not getting behind that. Because number one, again, we want to make it simple. I don't want to get behind 30 different speaker brands. There's some great speaker brands out there, but we're going to limit it. I don't have a couple. The next one I'm looking for is I need to figure out which one do I want to get behind for that budget friendly. So that's what I'm chasing. Same thing with AVRs. I want to find out what that's on my to-do list. Like, what AVR do I really want to get behind? And it might not even be the same brand for different prices. Prime example, just hypothetically, maybe for that $1,000 and less brand, it might be Onkyo and it might be this model. Okay. But if you got a budget a little bit higher than that, let's say $1,500 to $3,000, it might be this Denon. And then if the budget is above that, it might be this Anthem, So just to give you an idea, I'm not there yet. I need to figure that out. But that's the process. And so as I've brought you guys along my personal journey in my theater room over the past 7 years, now I'm inviting you to be a part of the business journey. I feel extremely blessed and extremely grateful. Number one, that I get a chance to do this for a living. I feel extremely blessed to have traveled literally all over the world to experience some amazing home theaters. I feel extremely blessed and grateful of the many friendships that have come from my channel. People that I've had a chance to have in my home, meet in different scenarios, travel to their home, get to know them. Vendors, brands, getting to know the owners of these companies has been really, really cool. The engineers behind these amazing products. And so I'm just super grateful for that. But as I brought you along my journey in my theater room, I've now extended the invitation to join me in my journey as we build out Obsessed Home Theater. We're going to show you flaws and all. We want to show you just the real, authentic. If we're building a theater room in Rusty's house and we run into some issues and maybe we cut the hole out in the wrong spot. Well, again, it's easy to hide that with video editing and only show the good. I truly think that when I'm authentic and I can show you that, hey, look, I make mistakes just like you do, that's super relatable. And I think you guys will appreciate that. So expect more of that, but I'm just really hoping that this video helps. I just had so many things to talk about. I figured, let me just put it in one video versus trying to answer 1,000 questions. And let me just, so that way when somebody asks this question, I can point them to the video and I'll put timestamps or something at the bottom. But so anyways, I hope that this has answered maybe a lot of the questions that you've had about the channel, about Obsessed Home Theater. I am super grateful for your support. Not only for subscribing and liking and commenting and asking great questions, but being customers of Obsessed Home Theater, purchasing merch, purchasing speakers and subwoofers and banana cables from us. We're so, so grateful for your support. You guys have been amazing. And I'm just, honestly, I'm just kind of taken back. Like, this is actually real. And so I'm just super grateful, and I'm doing the best that I can to provide valuable content for you if you're building out a theater room, whether it's in a garage, in a basement, in a living room, or a dedicated theater room. Hopefully I'm providing value to you, education, entertainment, talking about great products, and giving you some guidance along the way so that you don't make mistakes that'll cost you time and money. But If you got other questions, man, I'd love to hear them. Drop them down in the comments of this video. Who knows? Maybe I'll make another video like this, just answering a bunch of questions. I just wanted to be real, uncut. This video won't be edited at all. But anyway, hopefully that answers some questions. So appreciate you guys more than you'll ever know. Hope you have an incredible week. God bless, and I'll catch you in the next video.